When Emma and her younger brother Caleb moved into the old lakeside house, their grandmother warned them about the crawl space. "Don't open that little metal door," she said. "And if you ever hear tapping from underneath the floorboards, ignore it." Their grandmother wasn't a dramatic woman. She'd survived a war and raised 3 children alone. So the seriousness in her voice settled into Emma's bones. She nodded. Caleb didn't. 10-year-olds rarely do. On their first night, the lake was a dark mirror, and the house creaked like an old ship. Emma lay awake, listening to the soft lap of water against the dock. Caleb slept across the room on an old twin bed. Around midnight, she heard it. Tap, tap, tap. Slow, rhythmic. Not from the walls, from below. Emma froze, breathing shallow breaths. The tapping continued for several minutes, then stopped. She eventually drifted to sleep, convincing herself it was pipes cooling. By morning, she had convinced herself she imagined the whole thing. Day 2, their grandmother drove into town for groceries, leaving them alone. Emma was sketching by the window when Caleb came in from the backyard, cheeks flushed. "There's something under the house," he said. Emma stiffened. "What do you mean?" He grinned the way kids do when they know they're doing something they shouldn't. He held up a rusted key on a chain. "Found this by the foundation. I think it opens the door to the crawl space. Want to see?" She absolutely did not want to see. But Caleb was already halfway down the hall toward the short metal door built into the wall, just a foot above the floor. "Caleb, don't..." He stuck the key in. It turned. The door swung open with a screech like something waking up. Cold, damp air spilled out, carrying the smell of wet soil and old things that should have stayed buried. The crawl space was pitch dark, even though daylight shone through every window in the house. "Don't go in," Emma snapped. "I'm just looking." Caleb crouched, flashlight in hand. Emma grabbed his shirt. "We're not allowed." Before he could pull away, something shuffled in the darkness. Not an animal, not quite a person, something with weight, dragging itself forward slightly, then stopping. Both kids froze. Then came the tapping again, but this time it was only a few feet away. Caleb jerked back so fast he dropped the flashlight. It rolled inside, casting a thin beam of light that caught a hand. Thin, gray, wrong. They slammed the door. Emma locked it. Caleb dropped the key as though it had burned him. Neither spoke until their grandmother returned. Emma told her everything. Their grandmother's face turned a shade paler than Emma had ever seen. "You opened the door," she whispered. She made them sit at the kitchen table while she boiled water for tea, hands trembling. "I hoped it wouldn't wake up for you," she said. "It sleeps most years. Likes this house for some reason." Emma's throat tightened. "What is it?" Her grandmother looked toward the metal door. "Something that crawled out of the lake before I was born. My father tried to trap it. He only managed to lock it in there. It taps when it's hungry. You must never let it see you." Caleb swallowed hard. "What does it eat?" Their grandmother didn't answer. She only said, "Tonight, we sleep with the radio on. It doesn't like noise." Night 2. Static filled the house as the old radio hissed white noise from dusk until midnight. Their grandmother sat in her rocking chair, knitting, eyes never leaving the crawl space door. Emma and Caleb pretended to sleep. The radio buzzed, the house creaked, wind scraped branches across the roof. Then, somewhere between midnight and 1 a.m., the radio died. A clean, sudden click. Silence flooded in. "That's not supposed to happen," their grandmother whispered. Tap, tap, tap. It echoed directly beneath the living room floorboards. Louder, faster, tap, 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 tap. Emma gripped her blanket. Caleb crawled closer to her bed. Somewhere down the hall, the metal door rattled softly. Something was pressing against it, testing it, and then the tapping started moving. Fast, scrape tap, scrape tap, scrape tap. It was crawling along the bottom of the house, following the beams, navigating the dark by memory, coming, right beneath Emma and Caleb's room. Tap, tap, tap. Then, bang. Something slammed up against the floor so hard Emma felt the vibration through her mattress. The door of their room creaked open. Emma's heart seized until she saw it was just their grandmother. She limped in, clutching an old transistor radio. "Under the bed," she hissed. "Go!" They scrambled underneath as she switched on the radio. A piercing burst of static filled the room. The tapping halted. Then, as if disgusted, the thing scuttled away, back toward the crawl space. Not quickly, not slowly, but with purpose. By dawn, the house was silent again. The final night. Their grandmother decided they would leave the next morning. Emma spent the day packing. Caleb tried to stay brave, but every distant thump made him flinch. That evening, clouds rolled over the lake like bruises. The air was thick, heavy with the promise of a storm. Their grandmother set up 3 radios this time, one in the kitchen, one in the hall, one in the kids' room. Just after sunset, the storm hit. Lightning snapped the sky open. Thunder rattled windows. Rain hammered the roof like 1,000 fists. At some point during the storm, the power went out. The house fell into full darkness, except for the faint glow of the battery-operated hallway radio. And then the hallway radio died. The kitchen one followed, then the one in their room. Silence. A long, deep scrape came from under the house, then tapping. Slow at first, measured, confident. "It knows we're leaving," Emma realized. Their grandmother grabbed them both. "To the car! Now!" They moved fast through the dark house, lightning flashes guiding them. The tapping grew louder, matching their footsteps as if shadowing them from beneath. They reached the front door. Emma twisted the knob. A sound like metal tearing open echoed from down the hall. The crawl space door. It had opened. Something was climbing out. Their grandmother shoved the kids onto the porch. "Run to the car!" she cried. Emma sprinted. Caleb followed. Rain soaked them instantly, cold and punishing. Behind them, inside the house, something heavy dragged across the floor. Wet footsteps slapped the wood. Too many joints bending the wrong way. Emma yanked open the car door. Caleb dove inside. Their grandmother was not behind them. "Grandma!" Emma screamed. A silhouette filled the doorway of the house, tall and hunched, limbs too long, skin hanging like wet cloth. It tilted its head at an angle no human could. Lightning flashed. For a moment, Emma saw its face, pale, empty eye sockets, and a mouth that stretched across nearly the entire skull. It took a step forward. Her grandmother stumbled out onto the porch, clutching a lantern. Her voice was raw with terror. "Emma, go!" She smashed the lantern on the wooden railing. Flames flared up instantly. The creature recoiled. "Go!" she screamed. Emma slammed the door, grabbed Caleb's hand, and the two of them ran, barefoot, through mud and rain, toward the road, not stopping until they reached the neighbor's distant porch. They looked back. The house was burning. The creature stood silhouetted in the firelight, writhing as the flames crawled toward it. Finally, it vanished in a crash of collapsing beams. Their grandmother never made it out. Epilogue. The fire crews said it was an electrical fault. They found part of the crawl space had caved in. The old wood rotted through. Nothing else. Emma and Caleb knew the truth. Years later, when the rebuilt house went up for sale, the listing mentioned something odd in the fine print. Minor construction issue, occasional tapping noises from beneath the floorboards. Harmless, probably settling. Emma deleted the listing because she knew the truth. Some things don't die, they just wait.